It is week number 14 in the National Football League. It is crazy how fast this season has flown by. We are post-American Thanksgiving, and it is now into in the hunt season. Although, admittedly, seeing those standings, a little underwhelming. It was not fun. It doesn't look like we're gonna have a lot of great playoff races here down the stretch. But let's get into our power rankings. At number 32, they stay the worst. They are the New York Giants. This team just, it feels like they've clearly given up. There's no fight in this group whatsoever, and I think it shows on the football field. It has been a really disappointing season, albeit not unpredictable out in New York, and I think again it has really shown in what the team is doing here in the next couple of weeks, or last couple of weeks, sorry. At number 31, it is the New York Jets. Another big drop after another big loss. It looks so bad. Aaron Rodgers clearly isn't the answer, and it is really perplexing because it does feel like this team has quite a bit of talent, and for them to be this bad, is even beyond what I thought they were going to be. And I again, don't have real hope that they're going to turn this thing around going into next season. At number 30, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. I would be surprised if we see Trevor Lawrence again this season. It was scary, but things were bad before, and they have a lot of soul searching that I think they need to do. Right now, they are in position to get the number 1 overall pick, and I think we are all assuming that they're going to have a new coach. And when you look at that, when you look at new coach, coming in with Trevor Lawrence and potentially first overall pick, which a lot of people would assume would be Travis Hunter. Who knows what side of the football he's going to be on, whether it's offense or defense, or is he going to try to be the Shohei Ohtani of football and do it all? We will see. But that is at least an interesting way to start getting people into your system, I guess. At number 29, it's the Vegas Raiders. They didn't lose by as much as people thought they were going to against Kansas City, so some crazy how that moved them up in the power rankings this week because a lot of teams are very bad. And at 28, it's the New England Patriots. They hung around with the Indianapolis Colts, but it is still not great. So again, our bottom 5 this week, the Giants, the Jets, the Jags, the Raiders, and the Patriots. And you know what we like to do here when we have the bottom 5? Let's see what we're thinking potentially in the draft if it were to end up this way. And again, it probably won't, but if these were the bottom 5, Giants, I would not be stunned if they went quarterback. I would be stunned if they didn't, quite frankly. The Jets, holy cow, that would be an interesting discussion. You at that point, you probably know what Aaron Rodgers is looking to do, and if Aaron Rodgers is going to be sticking around, I don't think they go quarterback. If this were the draft order again, and the Giants went quarterback at 1, I think these guys jump on Travis Hunter and work it that way. Although again, with Garrett Wilson and with Devontae Adams, as your 2 wide receivers, with Breece Hall as your running back, I don't think that the problem there necessarily is the skill position players, but we will see. At 30, it's Jacksonville. I would be stunned if they did go quarterback again. I think that you would probably go, if Hunter is off the board, I need to start looking at the draft a little bit more, but I think they're going to look for something to help Trevor Lawrence out. At 29, Raiders would definitely be going quarterback, especially if those 2 teams didn't. Then it is whatever of Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders is left. And at 28, it is the New England Patriots. I would assume some form of a skill position player or offensive lineman would be the way that they would go. But I think a lot of interesting decisions coming up in the draft, and we are definitely getting into draft season now and going to be looking more at that as we go along here on the pod. At 27, it's the Tennessee Titans. It's bad. I still think that this is a good roster. I'm going to hold on to that I think this is a good roster, just with not a great quarterback and maybe not the best coaching situation. And now I just think you have a bunch of men who have just been beaten down over the year. At 26, it's Carolina. They're moving up even after a loss because this does not look like the lost season that it was going to be when things started to progress at the early part of the season. Bryce Young might actually be something, and that's very, I think, encouraging on the Carolina Panthers side of things. And I think it's something that they can really kind of take away from this year is they got a guy at quarterback. At 25, it is the Chicago Bears. Again, they're fighting. and they're battling. And I think that we have seen some improvements in Caleb Williams as the season goes on, and I think that there's going to be a lot of optimism around this team going into next season. At 24, it's the Cleveland Browns, the all of a sudden most entertaining team in the National Football League. The Cleveland Browns are at 24. At 23, it is the New Orleans Saints. 22, the San Francisco 49ers. The loss to Buffalo really does seem like the season's over now. Two running backs are hurt. They are fading back in a division that's actually probably pretty good, and it feels like season from hell sort of vibes out in San Francisco. 21, it is the Cincinnati Bengals. At 20, the Dallas Cowboys, showing some signs of life, and they have a relatively easy schedule the rest of the way, so it's hilarious when the Cowboys at least have hope. At 19, it is the Indianapolis Colts. At 18, it is the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins, ain't it? That would be such a move. 6-6, tied for first place in your division, battling for a playoff spot. Let's go with the rookie quarterback. But it has to at least be a discussion out there. At 17, it's the Rams, who continue to really be a tough team to put your finger on. You watch that game, and they were out of it for a lot, and then just picked it up for like 3 drives, and the game was over. At 16, it is the Arizona Cardinals. They are in the I can't quit you category. At 15, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Irving getting going is a really big part of that offense now, and their schedule is just fantastic the rest of the way. So again, we're looking at Tampa Bay as a potential team that could make some noise here. At 14, it's the Miami Dolphins. At 13, the Denver Broncos. And honestly, I'm gonna stop being so stubborn on these guys, and they're probably going to be moving up a little bit more. At 12, it is the Houston Texans. They get the win, but again, with no Trevor Lawrence for the back half of that game, the fact that they still only squeak that out, there's still concerns out in Houston a little bit there. At 11, it is Washington. A big win over Tennessee doesn't move you up a whole lot. At 10, it's the LA Chargers. Thought about moving them up a little bit because there are a couple of teams in the top 10 that had difficult losses this week, and you maybe think about that, but no offensive touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm still not... they are a good team, but I don't think that we are moving them all that high. At 9, it's Minnesota. Defense is awesome. Still very, very concerned that Sam Darnold is definitely Sam Darnold. At 8, the Seattle Seahawks. I can't quit these guys. It was looking not great against the New York Jets, and then Aaron Rodgers allowed them back into that game. But still, I think some things to... A lot of things that you like about this team. At 7, the Green Bay Packers. A huge game tonight on Thursday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. At 6, it is Baltimore. I can't drop them too much, even after a really bad loss to Philadelphia. I feel like they are still a tier above Green Bay, Seattle, Minnesota, and the Chargers right now. Into our top 5 we go. At 5, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The defense looks legit, and Russell Wilson has figured something out. I don't know what it is, but he has figured something out. At 4, the Kansas City Chiefs. Once again, they come away with a miracle victory over the Vegas Raiders. A lot of comparisons to the Philadelphia Eagles from a couple of years ago. This group still... I think it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Andy Reid. I still think that they are a threat in the AFC down the road. At 3, it is the Buffalo Bills. I wanted to move them up after the Snow Bowl win. I just couldn't with how well the other top 2 teams are playing, which means our top 2 is staying the same. At 2, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Something has clicked. Specifically on the defensive side of the football, something has really clicked out in Philly. And at number 1, it's Detroit. Did it take a little bit more than you'd want it to for them to beat the Chicago Bears this week? Yes, it did. But I still think that this is, that's Thursday. And we have learned to not overreact to Thursday games a whole lot. And B, this team has been doing such amazing work throughout this season that a close win over a division rival is not one that we're going to knock them too much for. So, the Detroit Lions, your number 1 team in all the land in this week's NFL Power Rankings.